All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Arena. I'm your host, Eric. I should turn you guys up.
I'm your host, Janelle, but Janelle is getting a pizza at the moment. Be right back.
All right.
Is it pizza though?
Stop it.
I will never.
Never.
I am the other host, the judge of pizza, getting my PhD in pizza. But I'm Kelly, resident pizza snob.
Yes, definitely pizza snob. We're gonna wait for Janelle to get back. But I'm Eric, and this is Arena. This is a show where we play and watch esports and other competitive games. And we're going to be playing Starcraft 2 today. And I have played a lot of Starcraft 2 in my life. It's one of my favorite games to watch especially, but even to play, it's very enjoyable. Kelly, have you ever played Starcraft 2?
I have not. I have only watched you play it once.
Well,
it was like one of the first episodes of the Arena, and I'm sitting there like, I have nothing to offer this show. Oh my god.
Janelle, have you ever played Starcraft 2 before?
Nope. I read a paper on it, but I've never watched it or played it.
So, welcome to Starcraft 2. So, the basic gist, I'm going to give you the very quick and dirty. Starcraft 2 is a strategy game, real-time strategy game, so it's not like turn-based, it's like, real-time, quote-unquote. Everything's turn-based, though, if you slow down time enough.
Nice.
It's a strategy game, and where you control an army and an economy, basically, and you try to outgrow your opponent and slaughter them, with your army. Basically get a bigger army, or get a more technical army, or however you want to describe it.
My arm is bigger than your army.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
My hands.
There are so you guys have a critical decision to make right now. You're in the menu in the pregame, and this is the biggest decision you can make in all of StarCraft 2.
Wow.
What race are you going to be? To give you Go ahead.
The Zerg is like the super aggro that like reproduce like bunnies, aren't they?
Not exactly. None of the races are necessarily more aggressive or less aggressive than any of the other ones. Instead, though, they're actually quite balanced in terms of flavor. In terms of like that kind of thing. Like, is this the aggressive one or is this the control one or something along those lines? But I'll give you the general gist of the three races and then let you pick. So there are three races in StarCraft: the Terran, the Protoss, and the Zerg. The Terran are your basic human people. There are Marines, there are tanks, there are Banshee, which is like a bomber. Like they have just like general like stuff you'd expect in a strategy game for a human race to have, right? They're pretty standard. Like you're gonna look at their stuff and they're gonna it generally makes sense. If you've played an RTS game before, Terran is the most like other RTS games like Age of Empires or Warcraft or things of that nature. Being like, for instance, Terran will build a barracks. The barracks will build you a Marine. Like that's like a very standard way of understanding how units are built in an RTS. I'm going to shorten real-time strategy game to RTS from now on. The Terran, generally speaking, are pretty. Their main like shtick is that they're pretty adaptable. Like they can fly their buildings around. Like they can heal. They can put their Marines in like a medevac and heal them with it. Like they've kind of got this kind of like jack of all trades kind of thing going on with them comparatively to the other two races. Terran tend to have a weird dichotomy between fast and slow. So they have a lot of Terran, more so than the other races, have the ability to turtle, right, which is create like a defensive zone, because they've got units like siege tanks, which have this long range and shoot like from really far distances, or liberators, which set up a zone which basically that they shoot in that's really deadly. So a lot of times Terran is like kind of about controlling space, or they've got these really fast disposable units like the Marine, which you can just build tons of and is like the best unit in the game in my opinion. But that's kind of like the gist of Terran. Then we've got Protoss. Protoss is your futuristic aliens. Like imagine like kind of UFOs. They don't have like mouths. They like speak to each other with telepathy. And they work more. They're more like they're more like the Terran than they are like the Zerg, I would say overall. Because with the Protoss, you're still like going to build, instead of building barracks to train up Marines, you actually build gateways to like summon aliens from the home world basically into your place. But you also get like the robotics facility as well as like a Stargate, which all function very similarly to like the starport of the Terran or the factory or the barracks of the Terran. But what the Protoss are really good at is making quality units. For instance, I think perhaps like the best pound for pound unit in the game is this unit called the Immortal, which is a very apt name for it, because it is a tank. It is just this big thing with these huge arms for cannons, and it just destroys any other ground units in its path. But like the general idea is that their units cost more to make, the Protosses, but they're better units overall, right? And so that's kind of what Protoss is like. Then finally, we've got the Zerg. The Zerg are like bugs. They're like these weird alien, like remember Alien the movie? They're like that kind of alien, right? Not like a futuristic UFO alien, but like that body horror thing. Their main, like, if you look at just the different units available to the Zerg, they've got like the Zergling, which is like a little ant. The Zergling, it costs the same as a Marine, but you get 2 of them whenever you make one. They're little twins. And that's actually really indicative of what Zerg is like. They multiply, right? There's a lot of them because they're bugs, right? You want to swarm the enemy. But Zerg lack defensive capabilities as much. They need to, and they typically need more resources than the other races but they're like a virus. They spread around the whole map. And that's kind of what Zerg is like. And so those are your 3 races. And what I would just encourage you to do for our first game today is just to pick one and try it out. Or pick random, as I see Kelly has selected.
Yep,
currently.
I can't make decisions.
All right.
Random is where it's at.
All right, I'm going to So, I could click referee so I could pause the game. So I guess I will be referee because
Because I do have to go grab my pizza at some point. So if we can pause the game, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think you guys will be able to pause the game whenever you want. I think if I was a spectator, I wouldn't have been able to pause. But as referee, I can pause. That would be pretty obnoxious.
I know.
So we're gonna start up the game, and I'll probably pause right away to just describe to you guys like what you're seeing like in the initial part of the game.
Also, we've got buddies in chat. Got Play Scholar and Gamer Anthro. Hello, folks.
Oh shoot! All right, so I'm gonna have to pay really close attention.
Holy crap, dude, your hair grows fast.
What?
Gamer Anthro says, "Holy crap, dude, your hair grows fast." She right though. Your hair does grow fast.
F10. All right. Pause.
Oh, are you on camera right now, Janelle?
No.
Ah.
No, I assume she's talking about Eric's hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I am on camera. I'm glad that you've noticed my hair growing, I guess. So let's take a look. So who's Futhermucker?
Who do you think?
All right, yeah. I can see why you're so proud of that name. So Kelly is in our bottom left, and I'm going to spoil what races you guys are playing. She's playing the Zerg, and Janelle is in the top right, and she's playing Protoss.
All right.
So what you're seeing right now is all your workers are getting to work. Those little guys, you got one. Janelle, you've got probes. Kelly, you've got drones. And those units, they can attack things. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to give you guys a big tip. I want you all both to hit F10, and I want you to go to options. Then I want you to.
I hit that, but it's not letting me do options.
Hit escape, maybe. Just try to get into the options menu if you can. Wherever you can, whatever your button to do that is. For me, it's F10, so I just assumed. You can also,
What am I looking for?
You're looking for options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting that. Oh wait, menu. Yeah, what? It should be F10, but it's not letting me. But I'm in the options menu.
You might have a keyboard. Are you using your laptop keyboard?
Yeah.
You probably need to press F and F10 because F10 is probably doing something else. All right,
Yep.
so go to mouse and key, or go to hotkeys.
Okay.
And I want you to go to select a profile, and instead of standard, select grid, and then hit
One
accept.
second. I'm not getting. I have mouse and keyboard. I don't see hotkeys.
Game paused.
Sorry, I accidentally resumed the game for a sec. So under options,
all the way at the bottom.
it's all the way at the bottom. Yeah.
Ah.
So the reason why you want to select, so once you've selected grid and accepted, that's going to make it so hotkeys are a lot easier, because Starcraft is a game you really want to be using the hotkeys for, but the normal hotkeys are like weird and esoteric. Like it'll be like to build a drone, press D, because drone starts with D. It's like it's not actually that intuitive, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
grid,
not
on the other
intuitive at all.
hand, you'll now notice that if you select a unit, I don't know if you can when you're paused.
Yeah, I can't when it's paused.
I can. When you select a unit, you'll see that now the buttons in the bottom right hand corner that you can click, like move or stop or hold a position or attack or you know, build a thing or whatever. Those will now be like correlative with the far left keys on your keyboard. So like Q, W, E, R, T, A, S, D, F, G, you know, Z. So that will make it a lot more intuitive. So you might start by clicking the basic mutations or whatever with your units, but you'll get more used to over time clicking the hotkeys, and then generally speaking, once you get good enough, you'll just never click the bottom right hand side, and you'll only use the hotkeys to do things. But so let's get back to the basics. Sorry, I meant to actually ask you to do that before we got into game, so that was my bad. So your worker units can technically attack, and note now attacking will be T and then left clicking anywhere, but they're not good attacking
Cut out
units.
for me for a minute.
Oh, am I back?
Yep.
So they're not good attacking units though. They're workers. They're your little worker bees, right? Your little drones, right? As the name implies, are probes, right? They're not mutalisks, zerglings. They don't even have aggressive sounding names. But what they can do is they are the most important unit in the game, because they get you more stuff, right? So you're gonna see that you see all those blue crystals, right, on your map, right?
Yep.
Those are minerals. Those are the basic kind of resource in the game. Minerals allow you to build things. For instance, one probe costs 50 minerals to make. One drone also costs 50 minerals to make, right? So your workers cost only minerals. You see those weird green things to the left and right that are kind of flanking your mineral line?
Yep.
Those are Vespene geysers. They give you the other resource in the game. That's called Vespene gas. Vespene gas, generally speaking, is used to make special units, but overall, you just want to make sure you have Vespene gas. Now, I'm going to unpause the game here, okay? And your guys' workers are going to start working. And what I want you to both do is, I want you to both build a worker. And the way that you do that is select your building in the middle, whether it's your nexus or your hatchery, and look at the menu on the bottom right, and you'll be able to figure out how to build a thing. For you, Kelly, it's going to be select larva, and you'll see you've got some of those little larva guys already hanging out at the bottom of your hatchery. And you're going to want to turn one of those larvae to morph into a drone. Meanwhile, for Janelle, you're going to want to click your nexus, and then warp in a new probe will be an option for you. So let's go ahead and we're gonna try that out.
Game resumed.
Wait. Hatchery.
It will be, actually for you, it's really simple because I play in grid. It's just Q, Q, Q. Like just press or select the hatchery, then press Q and Q, and there you go. There you go. You guys have done the most important thing.
Game paused.
That's making workers. You really want to, for you, Janelle, always be having a worker building at any given time. Okay. Because you're going to want to eventually expand to a new base, and you're going to need those to transfer those workers over to that new base. Right now we can actually see. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but now I have to get some overlords.
Yes, you do. Which exactly leads us to our next thing. Janelle, what I want you to do is now select one of your probes and build a pylon. So for you, that'll be select the probe, press Z to warp in a structure. And then once you've got warp in a structure, you'll find the pylon on the menu and warp in a pylon somewhere near your base. What a pylon is it basically creates an electrical field that allows you to build more, it allows you to build more units, and it also allows you to build buildings in that electrical field. Now, in the top right-hand corner, you guys are both going to notice something, and that's your supply. Janelle, yours is 14 out of 15. Kelly, yours is 14 out of 14. Supply is the last resource we need to manage. So and you can tell now all three of those resources are in your top right-hand side. So, there's no more resources to worry about after supply. But what supply is basically you can only have a certain number of units on the field. And then it's like you don't have enough food or whatever or resources to maintain those. None of us are Terran, which is a little unfortunate because Terran just says it's actually supply depot, which makes the most intuitive sense for us to understand, right? Oh, of course my units need supplies, right? I can't get more if I don't have food to feed them. But the way that it works in the lore, I'll just very quickly explain because it's kind of goofy. The overlords help control the units with their mind because the overlord is like super smart, right? And it's like telekinetically commanding the units for you. And so the idea is that the Zerg units will lose, you don't have control over them without the overlords, right? And then I don't really know what the lore is for the protest. They just need more electricity. But what I want you both to do is, Kelly, I need you to select a larva and make an overlord. And Janelle, I need you to build a pylon with one of your probes. So your probes, that just a note, your probes and drones also build buildings. They collect the minerals, but they're also your builders. So with that, let's go ahead and resume.
Game resumed.
And so I clicked a friend. How do I evolve them?
It would be W. So for you, it would be select the hatchery, select the larva with Q, and then morph into overlord with W. If you're using the hotkey, or you can just click the overlord on your thing. Meanwhile, Janelle's got her pylon building. That's good.
Okay, so I think I made 3 overlords.
That's okay. Go make sure that you've. So here's something that's important to note. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pause.
Game paused.
We got to learn about rallying points. Actually, there's no reason to have it pause. We'll resume.
Game resumed.
So, for your both of you. So select your hatchery, and then right click on a mineral patch.
Yep.
Now your hatchery, and then right click anywhere else on the map. Oh, you selected an overlord.
I see.
Whoops.
So I'm teaching you about rallying points. So rallying point is when any build. So you for your thing, Janelle, you probably want your rallying point to be on the mineral line.
Yeah.
And then Zerg has 2, so it's kind of weird. So the next thing I want you to build is Kelly, take that drone you have in the top right hand corner, select Z, which is basic mutation. And then from there, I want you to build a spawning pool on your creep. And the creep is that gray stuff that's all around your base. Yeah. Janelle.
Hold on, I hit Z, but it's not.
Did you select grid?
Yeah.
All right, then you can also get there by just clicking basic mutation, which is in the bottom left-hand side of that right-hand thing that has all the commands for the units, and then selecting spawning pool. You can just click your way there if you'd like. But Janelle, why don't you build a gateway? So that'll be Z to warp in a structure, and then A to warp in a gateway. And warp it. You have to warp it in around where your pylon is. All
Here's
right.
a question. You can do this in Age of Empires. Can you do this here where you have workers, various workers build the same thing?
Yep, you could build a bunch of different things. The way that works with Protoss is once you warp in a thing, your probe can go do whatever it wants. It doesn't have to stay there anymore, so you can send them back in for mining. Kelly, you have some workers that are not doing anything; they're just hanging out at the bottom of your thing. You got to put them to work. But what did you guys just do? Yeah, they're just kind of sitting there underneath. They're like little workers sitting underneath your thing. Not overlords. They're like drones. So what did you guys both do just now? So the gateway and the spawning pool are the most basic buildings for your thing. So the spawning pool, Kelly, will allow you to build any queen, out of your hatchery. So if you select your hatchery and then click Birth Queen, it will, it'll allow you to build a queen. But you got even more workers now who just are sitting there doing nothing. You got to put those guys to work. Your overlords are kind of in the way. If you double click a unit, you'll select all of that unit on your screen. And what I would do is double click your overlords and then right click to send them away so that you can see that big contingency of drones underneath where get to work, you lazy drones. But see, I like Janelle's got a natural explorer's tendency. She's building an assimilator, which is very good.
Flying Age of Empires logic. So
Yes.
I'm glad I finally have like a foundation for one of the games we play. Yay.
So, Kelly, what you want to do is why don't you select one of your drones and sacrifice him to make an assimilator. So you'll click basic mutation and then you'll see our extractor. So then mute into an extractor and you select the Vespine geyser and he'll morph into, it's kind of gross. Your little drones become your buildings, right?
I don't mutate into. I have hatchery extracted. There we go.
Yeah.
Ah. There we go. Wait.
So the next building you want to make, Janelle, is going to be the cybernetics, or what is it called? I'm looking up the name. The cybernetics core. That'll allow your gateway to build more new units, specifically the stalker, the adept, and the sentry. Because right now your gateway can only produce zealots. You're also going to want to build another pylon because that will give you more supply. Because right now your supply blocked. So you can see that your gateway has a unit queued up, but can't actually build that unit. All right, so Kelly, you've got a nice little army there. Let's see. You still haven't set any rallying points for your hatchery, so we're going to focus on that for a sec. So select the hatchery, and then try to right-click the mineral field, and then right-click like maybe to the north of your hatchery a little bit. There you go. So you see those lines? That'll mean whenever you make a unit, it'll go to one of those lines. So the orange line denotes where your drones will go, and the white line denotes where your military units will go.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get you both another base, since you guys got plenty of money here. So both of you select one of your workers and send him down to that mineral field that's really close to your base. For you, Kelly, it's to the north. For you, Janelle, it's to the south of your base. There's another...
Wait, I have one... Oh, I can't see.
You said south? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, so you're looking for like that mineral field. It's worth noting to look at the mini-map to see where you are. And so go ahead and make another hatchery right on that blue circle. Or for you, that'll be another nexus right on the blue circle. Kelly, with that little drone you have up at the top of your base, why don't you send him to make a little hatchery? Or it. I guess it's an it.
Base. 1 second. Stay.
So then one of the nice things the game does is it made like that blue circle is right where you want the hatchery to be, or where you want the nexus to be. So Janelle, what you want to do next is you want to start getting something cool going on. So go to that cybernetics core you built, and you'll see that if you press Z, there's this thing called Research Warp Gate. That is one of the coolest things about the entire race. And I'm also going to teach you one more trick. You might want to get this upgrade a little faster. Select your nexus, and you'll see that it has under Z the ability to chrono boost a thing, which makes it operate 50% faster for 20 seconds. So why don't you try to chrono boost your cybernetics core? So you just select it, press Z, and then select the building. That can be pretty useful. All right, Kelly. Oop, Kelly, you never actually built that base.
I did not.
That's okay.
I still have no clue what I'm doing.
That's okay.
Try. 1 second. Need to make a lot of little bastards.
Oh, you keep sending him to mine up the minerals there, rather than sending him to build a new building.
How do I have them? Oh, did I just do the thing?
Yeah, so press Z for basic mutations, then press Q for hatchery, and then build the hatchery right next to the base.
There we go. Got it.
All right, so Janelle, one thing you're gonna wanna do is you'll tell you have a lot of money saved up. So go ahead and you now should be able to build an advanced structure. So if you select a probe and then press the X key, you'll see you can build a couple different things. A Twilight Council, a Stargate, or a robotics facility. Let's go ahead and try to build a robotics facility. I'll let you figure that out. Meanwhile, Kelly, why don't you send... Oh, you have a lot of drones not working. Get those guys to work. I think you accidentally deselected your rallying point on the minerals. Whoa! You selected all your guys. Where are they going?
To the mineral field up here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay. But you selected all of them. Now none of them are working your original base. It's not the end. It's not the end of the world. It's select your hatchery, and you're gonna see if you press Z or if you just click it on the thing, you can mutate that into a layer. That'll allow you to get more tech options.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you select one of your drones and go to basic mutation and select the roach warren and build that somewhere in your base.
1 second.
Janelle, you got a lot of workers who are also not working. It's not a big deal, but that's at your second base. You have yet to set the rallying point for that one. All right, Janelle's got a little army going here, but she's supply blocked. So, Kelly, why don't you try to build a roach? Oh no, you're gonna have to wait a sec. Your roach isn't totally done. Now try to build a roach.
Okay, 1 second.
Meanwhile, Janelle, you're still trying to build a robotics facility. So if you want the hotkeys for that, that's a probe, then X, and then E.
Oh, I gotta make one.
Or did Janelle go get her pizza? Or...
But I'm back.
Okay. Oh, you built a spine crawler. Very good. It's a nice little defensive unit. So one thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to upgrade some of your units. So an upgrade to a unit is obviously really valuable. So Kelly, if you select your spawning pool, which is that first building that you made, and you select Q, you'll evolve metabolic boosts. That'll make your zerglings faster. You see you've got a couple zerglings in your base. You can double click those and send them down to the front of your new base so that they can help you defend if something comes to attack. Meanwhile, if you can get a very similar upgrade on your roach warren called the glial reconstitution, which will increase the movement speed of your roaches. So why don't you get that upgrade going and then try to build a bunch of roaches. Meanwhile, Janelle, why don't you try to build a robotics facility? So that'll be a probe, then X, and then E to warp in a robotics facility around one of your bases. You also might want to build another... Okay, so yeah. Let's get this. This is really, really cool what you just did, Janelle. So you turned your gate into a warp gate. So now select that and then press like Q, or select a unit, and then you can warp in the unit in an electricity field and it'll come out instantly. So
oh, that's awesome.
So try warping in one of the units.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, so one thing that you can do then is, if you're really a sneaky player, is you could build a pylon somewhere else on the map and then warp in a bunch of units right next to your opponent's base. It's a very sneaky Protoss strategy.
Yeah, dude, that sounds awesome.
All right. Kelly, you already have a roach warren, so you don't need to build another one.
Well, I built several because you left me unattended.
So the thing about the Zerg that makes them kind of unique is that the Zerg is able to, it builds almost all of its units from the hatchery. So like your all your larvae that you have from both of your things, you can use all that larva to build roaches. So try to build as many roaches as you can. The other thing you can do is you're going to find that you really want a lot of larvae. So if you take your queens and you press X on them, which is spawn larvae, and then you target a hatchery, what that'll do is it basically throws a bunch of larvae on top of the hatchery, and then after a couple of like about 20 seconds, the larva will hatch off of it, and then that will give you more larvae to build more roaches.
1 sec.
For both of you, an important thing that you can do is press F1 to select your, I think it's your entire army, though because of your weird controls with your laptop, Kelly, it may not work, but F1 will select your whole army, and then you can move your army around and get it to where you want.
How do I morph into a roach?
So you select the larva, and then you select R for roach actually works kind of well in grid. So what you'll do is you select a hatchery, press Q, and then press R.
That makes sense. Oh, but there's too many There's too many over there.
Now that my mineral fields in my first place are pretty much gone, should I just move everybody to the other one?
Yes.
Okay.
You might want to build another new base too.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do now.
So I'm gonna give you guys some basic pointers here. So for Kelly, one thing that you're gonna want to do, this is just smart. Not smart like you didn't, what you wouldn't have known this until I told you. But select your first hatchery that's now a layer, and I want you to press Shift 1 or Shift 4 or Shift any number, just any one number. And then I want you to select just the other hatchery, and also hit Shift whatever key you just pressed. So Shift 1 again. Now you've put both of your hatcheries on the same hotkey. So you press 1, you'll actually select both of the hatcheries.
Nice.
I just made it so I can only see one of your guys' visions. Oh, E for everyone, okay. Now what you can do is press 1 and then press Q, and you'll select all the larvae you have to make it easier for you to select units.
Gotcha.
For Janelle, you can do this too. You can select your warp gates and press Shift 1, and then you'll put that warp gate onto 1 for your hotkey. And then you can select your other warp gate and hit Shift 1, and then it'll add that to the group. So just so you guys know the commands, Control number will create the hot group, and Shift number will add to that hot group, or that hotkey group. So now it'll be really easy, and you can tell why grid could be really useful is because now you can press just 1, Q, and then whatever unit you want to make, and you'll instantly make it. You don't even have to be looking at the buildings that are making them.
Yeah, that is useful.
One thing that you're going to want to do too is Kelly, press 1 and then right click where your overlord is spawning creep there. Because there you go. You set your rally point there, and then press 1, and then press right click one of those mineral fields that are maybe by your second base. There you go. Now all your workers will go there when they spawn. So rally points are really useful. Kelly, why don't you try to build one more base, while Janelle, why don't you build a immortal out of that robotics facility? Ooh, and Kelly, you're going to want to build more workers. So one of the problems that Zerg has, and that you've probably noticed, is you've killed a lot of drones, haven't you?
Yep.
So you need to make more drones to make up for the fact that you killed all those drones.
How do I make a new spawn point?
So select the drone, press Z, and then press Q to mutate into a hatchery, and build it right on that blue thing. Oh yeah. It's not a big deal, but where you built that hatchery is not ideal, just because it's not near any mineral patches. And generally, your hatcheries are useful because of their proximity to mineral patches. But I will say that Zerg sometimes will build their hatcheries, will build additional hatcheries. What they call them macro hatches, because they need it. Because Zerg is very limited, right? Because they need to build larvae. They need larvae, right, to make units. And that's the only way they can make units. And the larva only comes from the hatchery. So sometimes you'll build an extra hatchery just so you can make more units. But, so Janelle is building up a nice army. Kelly, why don't you select one of your workers and click Advanced Mutation and let's build a Spire. Or a Hydralisk Den, one of the two. Whatever one you like more, based on the way it looks. Spire gets air units, the Hydralisk Den makes these Hydralisks, which are an iconic Zerg unit. Alright. You're gonna also want to build some more drones. I would say press 1Q and then Q. Just get a bunch more drones. And then also, maybe build some new Vespene geysers at your second base. Because you need more gas, because you're going to run out pretty fast. While you have 600, which is a big amount, you have a Spire there. And the Spire is going to allow you to build a really good unit called a Mutalisk. But a Mutalisk costs 100 gas to make. That's a lot of gas. So you're going to want to get more gas so that you can do that. So Janelle, you can select your whole army by pressing F1 if you want to move your army down to the front of your base.
My most western, my newest one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that one's fine too. I was just more telling you here's how you move your army around. You know what I mean?
For me, army is F2 and idle workers is F1. And idle workers is my favorite button in the world.
That's good to know.
What's this little guy over here?
Over where? Oh, that little guy by the rocks, the male Carrick. That is the game just has little guys who are completely valueless. All he can do is die.
Gotcha.
He doesn't even get in the way of your units or anything. He's basically a Nurbolg if you from D&D. But so generally speaking, you guys have the most basic of the basics down at this point. And what that is you have build workers, build buildings, build units, and then you send the units to go attack the opponent. There's two big concepts in Starcraft to get your mind around. And those are really simply called macro and micro. Generally speaking, when we say macro, what a StarCraft player is describing is what you guys have been doing this whole time, which is your ability to have an economy, right? Gain resources and then spend those resources.
What do the roaches do?
The roaches are basically everything is a military unit except for your drones. StarCraft is pretty simple in that way, which is pretty nice. So the roaches are a ranged unit. And what they're known for is that they have very thick armor, and they have a low ranged attack, and they're medium sized, medium fast. So the macro game is where you're able to basically get an economy up, spend your money, right? And that is in contrast to the micro game, which is your ability to manage your army effectively, right? Your ability to manage, for instance, a player with very good micro might be able to beat a better equipped army, right? Because they're controlling their army so well, right? Meanwhile, macro refers to just a player's ability to spend their resources and get more resources. You'll have different players in StarCraft history who are variously good at either macro or micro, or probably every professional player, of course, is probably decent at both. And so, so Kelly's got her own little investigation going on. She's just transformed one of her roaches into a Ravager. So you see that the Ravager is a little bit bigger, has a little bit more health, does a little bit more damage, and now we can get into some micro. So if you press Z on that corrosive bile, you can select another place on the map to shoot. It's like an artillery strike. Why don't you try to do that with your new Ravager?
Oh. Nice.
Pretty cool, huh? You could turn all your roaches into Ravagers if you want. Janelle, you can do the same thing by selecting your Sentry, which is that unit that has a little purple health bar above it. Or like under its health bar. And then you have 3 different spells you can cast. A Force Field, a Guardian Shield, or a Hallucination. Why don't you try casting a Force Field with one of them? No units can pass through that.
Interesting.
So that's, that helps like the idea of the race, of what Protoss is. It's like they're the race that creates like force fields and does this crazy like, technical stuff, right? Sciencey kind of things. Kelly, I love it. Sending all your workers to work that new base. Maybe build a new base over there. All right. So we've got kind of the basics down. So what are some questions that you guys have right now?
How does what I'm doing lead to a win or a loss?
That's a great question. So you win the game of StarCraft technically by destroying all the opponent's buildings. But you win a game of StarCraft in actuality by taking a big enough lead that the opponent concedes. So virtually no StarCraft game ends with actually destroying all the opponent's building. When it happens, it can be pretty exciting. But typically a player will know they've lost, that they can't possibly beat the opponent's army, right? Or that their push failed, right? Or something along those lines, and then they'll concede. So what you want to do is make a big army and go destroy your opponent. That's the basic gist of what you want to do. When you make that army is where a lot of the nuance comes in, right? Because do you want to make an early army and sacrifice your economy to try to kill your opponent early? But if your opponent hangs on or repels your attack, then they'll have the bigger economy and then they'll get a bigger army in the long run. Or do you want to, play that macro game and try to get a bunch of bases up and build a big army and try to succeed in that way? There's a lot of different ways to play a game of StarCraft, which is why it's such a complex game in general. So we'll have a fight here. How about? So, I'll just say, Kelly.
What?
Why don't you select your whole army, which is not too big, and send it to attack the top right-hand base.
Wait,
So,
hold on. How do I select the whole army here?
so you could press F2 to do that. Or it might be FN F2 for you, which is not ideal. We might have to switch that hotkey around.
Yeah, it's not letting me.
So go ahead
Even
and
with FN.
go to your options. We'll go ahead. We don't need to pause the game probably, but go to your options, go to hotkeys, and then go to global under your grid part and select control groups. And then there should be one second. Oh, I was wrong. Not control groups. I'll figure this out in just a second.
Unit management?
Might be under unit management. Select army units. Yeah, select a hotkey that you'd like. Maybe the tilde key would be a good one to select. Pressing tilde. Note that tilde is the push to talk button by default, but you don't actually use push to talk ever when you play StarCraft. So once you've selected and accepted that hotkey, now pressing tilde will select all your army units, and then you can right click to move them around.
Okay. And now where do I send them?
Why don't you send them up to the middle of the map? And Janelle, why don't you send your units to the middle of the map?
Whole army?
Yeah. Now, there's 2 different ways you can move units. You can right-click units, which will move them somewhere. Or you can T left-click a unit. When you press T and left-click a unit, it will be an attack move. An attack move is very useful because then your units will automatically attack other units that they see. Your units are fighting!
Ripperoni.
Looks like Janelle was able to make a bigger army. So,
Nice.
in classic Starcraft etiquette, it is now, since you have lost the fight, Kelly, you will type enter, and then press the words G, and then hit enter again. And then you'll hit F10 on the menu, and you will concede the match. And that will be the end of your guys' first game of Starcraft.
1 second. I don't have F10, so I have to go back to menu.
That's okay.
Surrender.
And then we'll go to the score screen.
Oh, this is where like you get the sort of like Qualtrics.
So you can see some performance. So Janelle had way more unspent resources, but that's also because she had way more resources because she built more bases. Janelle was supply capped for a lot more time and made a little bit more workers. So your guys' APM was pretty low. You made about 12 and 19 actions per minute. So what I want to do is I want to play again here. And what I want to do this time is I'm going to go ahead and but how can I want to make Kelly a spectator. What do I do? Ooh, maybe I want to add an AI to this game. No, I don't know if I can do this. 1 sec. Kelly, Janelle, can you make yourself a spectator here?
It says that I'm an observer right now.
Kelly, can you try to do that? All right. Oh, there we go. We're good. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna I'll play as Zerg for this one. Actually, I'll play as Protoss. Protoss is a little bit simpler. I'll play against a Terran who's not medium. Basically means pushover. I think you guys could probably beat the easy and very easy, maybe even the medium.
Hell yeah.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the speed at which I know I would play the game, which is not actually as very fast comparatively to like a professional player. But the goal is more just to show you how quickly you want to try to play the game to try to get things done. And I'll try to describe everything I'm doing, and then we'll put you guys into the game. So I'm instantly selecting my thing, and I hit Shift 4 so that now I have that thing. I actually will also what I'll do is let's see, we're gonna build a pylon. The second we have enough minerals, send the worker back to work. Build another worker, and then I'm gonna chrono boost out the workers so that I get them a little bit faster. The second that pylon finishes, I'm sending over a worker so that I can go ahead and make one of those gateways, send it back. Keep making workers. Now I want an assimilator because I want to get gas so that I can build buildings and things that I want to make. Let's see, come on. So you can see I'm dancing with that probe, right? Waiting, and then I'm gonna send that probe out to actually go make stuff. In case you're wondering, I'm bottom left. If I don't know where it's set you at the start. So I'm continuing to make workers. I'm gonna chrono boost them out. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna build another pylon, just because I'll need it eventually for more supply. Oop. Let's go ahead and send. So the Vespine geysers are the assimilator can only take 3 units at a time. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit Shift 5 to select that, to put that warp gate on a hotkey, and I'm gonna build a zealot out of it, so I can have a nice early game unit. Make that cybernetic score. So that way I've got a building, so that way I can build more specialty units. All right, so now I can see my opponent. They've already got a barracks. They're building another barracks, and they've got a bunch of workers here, right? That's in the top right-hand corner. So that's like my little scout guy. Oh God! And now you see he spawned a military unit, so I'm sending that guy back home to work. All right. So, and then I press FQ and then 5Q, and then instantly queued up building another worker and building.
You too.
Our 4Q and 5Q. So let's go ahead and I'm going to build another base. I'm going to start researching warp gate right away, and I'm going to build a stalker. Oop, once I have enough minerals.
But I'll have you know that I busted a gut.
Justice be done.
Sorry, what was that?
You did, but I hard busted a gut when Kelly said.
Oh, that's funny. Sorry, I'm turning down my sound a little bit because it's just a little loud for me to hear you guys. All right, return to game. All right, let's go ahead and build another gateway. Let's chrono boost out that upgrade that we had from before. Let's see, you go over here.
I know we've mentioned this in the past, but like just looking at this, like it just reminds me a lot about like kind of playing music and improv. Because there's a lot that goes with like just kind of like know-how, and yeah, there's a lot of like mechanics and kind of strategy that goes to it, but I feel like a lot of it is very sort of natural at this point for you as well.
Oh, definitely.
A lot of like how a lot of improv music goes. Like right now, I can understand objectively what is meant to be done, but not necessarily have the tempo or the sort of muscle memory to get stuff going.
Yeah, like for me, I can literally press 4Q, 5E, and I'm instantly queuing up these units to like do the things that they're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I think that is tough for a new player especially.
Mm-hmm. I just really would love to kind of
Research complete.
it's like just like for my own curiosity, like see the sort of relationship between like musicianship and sort of like a lot of esports, because there's a lot we talk about tempo and rhythm, which I know just because they share a name doesn't mean it's necessarily the same, but just sort of repetitive nature, the kind of grind that comes along with it.
One thing I would like you guys to do is on your bottom right hand side, you should have a thing that allows you to, one sec, there we go. All right, you should have something that allows you to see exactly what I'm seeing, as like, and I would like you to try to, I'd like you to try to select that if you can. I think it's like a slightly complicated thing that I'm asking you to do.
I'm already on player camera.
Oh, so you're seeing exactly like when I move the camera, it moves for
Yeah.
you. All right, okay, that's great. That's what I wanted. All right, good.
You have not enough minerals.
So you see how I instantly jump between my bases, like this?
Yep.
So what that is, hold on. There we go. All right. So what that is that's, I've actually set different locations on the map as hotkeys. So like this is F1, this is F2. I have slightly different keys than you guys because I set up my, my own personal preferences. But let's go ahead and let's go kill our opponent. So you see how what I did there is I selected my whole army, and then I just T-click on the opponent's base. And so now they're just gonna attack, move, and they're gonna attack anything they see on the way over there. Oops, and we're supply boxed. So if you shift-click a unit, it will do one, it'll queue an action, and then it will do another one. So for instance, I've got these stalkers here, right? Watch this. I can select one of these stalkers, and I can press, if I press shift and then move, you'll see that, you guys stay over there. You'll see that it'll walk in whatever prearranged order. Oh my gosh, my opponent is in our base. Hold on. Uh-oh. Defend. All right, well, we better send our military in to go kill them if they're gonna be here killing us.
Is it like in Age of Empires when you send your whole army to attack that some of them will get distracted, but generally they stay on task?
It's better than Age of Empires in that regard. So the most important thing for me to do is to kill all my opponent's workers, because so when you do attack move, your units will attack any hostile thing. So if they see like a hostile building, they'll attack it. But otherwise, the way that they'll work is they'll attack army units first, and then they'll attack workers, and then they'll attack buildings. So the AI should hopefully concede here soon.
See, like, I mean, I think that this is a lot of fun. Like, it's frustrating because I'm not necessarily good at it yet, and like, there's always a pressure to learn quote unquote better or faster when you're on stream versus when you're, playing on your own. And like I feel like one of the I feel like I would like StarCraft more if it was just like a race to building, not necessarily a race to destroy the others. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like the building and the growing part, but minus the other people trying to set you back part.
Well, yeah, it takes, that's why you play against friends and you get better at the game, because I think that actually becomes the fun part of the game. What you're describing is because that's for the interaction, right? That's the competitiveness, right? Is how can the other player hinder my economy? How can I hinder theirs, right? That cat and mouse game of, ooh, my army's smaller than theirs, so I need to build more army on my side, right? Like, like playing off each other, right? That's the beauty of the game. But I do understand what you're saying. It's like, by the way, the AI conceded, so I left the game. But I do see what you're saying. Like, there's a beauty just in like the economy of the game, the macro, right? Like just trying to build up like this vast kind of all these hatcheries or bases and trying to build up an army and build out these buildings and everything. I think that's how I like to play the game. I'm typically not a very aggressive player. I like to sit back, scout my opponent, and try to adjust to what they're doing. All right, so one of you guys is still in the game, so if you could leave.
Oh, that's me.
That would be okay. No, don't worry about it.
I find it really funny that when you're in a game and you're kind of leaving, they just smash the StarCraft SC on top of your tiny player icon in the top right corner. So for Kelly, it just looks like that really gruff expression with like a really angry SC just like stamped on it.
All right, I invited you, Kelly, to come to play.
I'd be playing.
All right. So what I would recommend to both of you is to keep playing the race you were playing before, or for Kelly to play Protoss just because you just saw me playing Protoss. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I'll coach you through random again. But what I thought might be fun here is to just do a time battle. So you guys, basically what we'll do is a 10-minute time battle. So you guys are both your races. I want you to build as big of an army, and then when the timer hits 10 minutes, you will meet. We'll have you guys attack each other, and we'll see who built the biggest army in 10 minutes. How does that sound?
Oh my god, that's awesome. Yes, that sounds great.
All right, so I'm gonna click start game.
Now, is there a quick way for you to scroll the camera? Because my mouse is not letting me scroll that well when I put it on like the northwest or east part of the screen.
That's the normal way, but you can also use the mini map. Actually the mini map is what I use more. So you can click on the mini map to jump to a different part of the map.
Yeah, I had been doing that. I was just wondering if there was like a better scroll, but
all right.
It's okay.
So I will be here to I think middle click and then move will also move the map around a little bit.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot more.
You did accidentally send your first 2 workers over to nowhere, but that's okay.
That's okay.
If you want advice or help, I am here to give it.
Oh, I don't want you over there. I want you over here.
If you have any questions, chat, I am here and I'm looking at it a little bit, so that can be useful. Let's see how both of you guys are doing. So I will say, Kelly, you're gonna want to build a spawning pool sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Ooh.
Get over here, you little bastard.
So Janelle has accidentally built a forge. I don't want to say accidentally, but you have built a forge.
It was not an accident, but yes.
A forge allows you to get upgrades, and what upgrades will let you do is they will let you, they're like act as a blanket thing. So for instance, upgrade ground weapons level 1. It means that all your ground units will deal a little extra damage. Now, when it's 1v1, that's not a big difference. But when you have these huge armies clashing against each other, a little bit of damage for each one ends up being a huge difference for a lot.
That's kind of what I was hoping for. I'm glad that's exactly what it was.
Currently, Janelle is in the lead.
That's okay.
Kelly, you're doing great.
Kelly does have more workers though. So Kelly has more money.
That's all I know how to make.
All right. So remember last game, Kelly, where I told you to build that lair? The reason why is that opens up the tech tree so you can make more expensive units. But before you can get that,
I'm trying to find that, yeah.
it's Z after you select the hatchery, but you currently don't have the gas to make it.
Yep. Oh, because I need to fucking send the workers there. I am a fool.
One thing that's very nice, if you look above the geyser, it'll tell you if you have the 3 workers necessary. And it can be useful to quickly check those things. We're 3.5 minutes in. You guys are all on your way to making some dope units. I would say, Janelle, one thing that you're gonna wanna do is get more production facilities. Because right now you only have 1 unit that can produce army unit, or 1 building that can produce army units. And eventually you're gonna wanna be making 2, maybe 3 units at a single time, right? And so that's something to consider.
Yeah, as soon as this pylon is done, I'm gonna start building more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a point, not necessarily in this match, but in other ones, where you don't want to stray too far from your nexus in this case? Like you don't want to build pylons like too far, or do you just want to like go as far as you can?
It's a push and pull, right? Because having a nexus, especially for you, having pylons up further can be very valuable because sorry, let me explain. Because it allows you more of that electrical field, right, to work with, to build more buildings, as well as they can be like little scouting things, and you can warp in units inside of them, right? So having them, in key locations allows you to warp them around. And they're relatively cheap, right? They're only 100 minerals. So if you lose them, not a big deal, right? Does that help?
Yeah, it helps a lot, thank you.
So Kelly, with this queen that's about to pop, what I want you to do is select it, then press X to spawn larva and select your hatchery.
X and then what?
Then
I need more overlords.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, and see that gray bar that's going over your thing? Your hatchery?
No. Yeah.
What that gray bar indicates is when that finishes, you're going to get extra larva, which will help you because it can be hard to,
What's the thing for overlords?
That would be, I think, W for you. So select your hatchery, select Q, and then W will allow you to make some more overlords. And now you just spawn more larvae, so you can make more overlords if you even wanted. For new players, for a veteran player, it is a really bad decision to build like a bunch of pylons at once or a bunch of overlords at once. But for a new player, it really isn't that big of a deal. All right, we're at the 6-minute mark, so you're gonna really want to start pumping out that big army if you can.
How do I get my roaches?
That would be Q and then R, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably want to build another base so you can get more larvae to spend all that wonderful money you've got.
Yep. What do I do? Evolve into base?
Into hatchery, yeah. So Z and then Q, and then put the hatchery probably at that second base down to your south. That place is okay too. It's less important for you right now to build it like in the proper location. You just need it for the production. Like you just want more larvae. And you have so much money that it's not a big deal. But keep building as many roaches as you can. Janelle's building a bunch of units too. You have 2.5 minutes. And then I'm gonna call all production off.
boy.
Okay, I got these little bastards. They're zerglings. Are those still ones that like I can evolve into something?
You can evolve them into banelings if you get the baneling nest. The baneling is my favorite unit in the whole game because it is a suicide bomber.
Just a
Lord.
baneling next.
Though I don't know if you'll be able to get the banelings in time because you've only got 2
Gonna
minutes.
try.
Yeah, the banelings are really good, but keep building as many roaches as you can because you've got plenty of larvae. I would select that queen and do that spawn larva again on the hatchery to get some extra larvae. You could do it on both of your hatcheries, actually.
You are. I just transformed it into a cocoon. Oh well. I just did the same darn thing.
One and a half
So-
minutes.
So I have this thing going now. How do I make more of those bombers?
Okay, so select your Zergling and then press Z to morph into Baneling.
See. That's spine crawler.
You're selecting a drone. Do the Zergling, the little guys who have the talons.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
They're
Roach.
right next to your roaches, and you have some in your mineral line too. They're like not. They're just standing still in your mineral line.
This guy? Nope. I still don't know.
Why don't you do the army selector?
This guy? Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So you can double click to select all of them, and then turn them all into banelings if you want. You guys have 30 seconds, so get your last units built.
I'm like staring at this advanced thing and I'm like, are you gonna finish in time?
Yeah.
All right. And ding, ding, ding. So I'll let those banelings finish for you, Kelly. And you can get one more round in Warpins if you want, Janelle. Now I want you guys to both select all of your select your whole army with your select whole army.
Sorry,
hotkey.
I was at push to talk real quick. Should I stop what I have in my queue or are we waiting until it's done?
I would say stop what you have in your queue because that immortal was queued up and then started going after the 10-minute mark. So
Okay.
So send. So what I want you to do is to select your whole army, and then I want you to T-click, just the middle of the map. All right. Well, no, we won't do the middle of the map. We want you guys to be. So do you guys see those little eyes on the middle of the
What
map?
eyes?
It's on the mini
Yeah,
map.
I do.
Send your whole army to the eye, to the one that's closer to your base, so that way they won't conflict with each other.
Okay.
All right. And now, all right, we'll have a classic kind of sumo showdown. So Janelle, you see that? Do you see that little blue thing that's to like the top, that's a little bit north of the tower that you're at? I can't actually ping it, but it's this big blue circle. And Kelly, do you see the big blue circle that's to the bottom left of where your army's at? It's like part of the map. It's like kind of like it's just a blue circle with these little orange things inside.
Yeah.
So send your army over to there. And your armies are gonna meet. I think a little. They might meet right now. I might have goofed this. Oh wait. Oh, back up your army, Kelly, because your army's not all together. Oh no. Okay. Oh, they were on move command. Okay. Now attack each other. You see each other. You're pretty close.
One
Just
second.
press.
I'm just trying to find where you went.
She's to the.
Yeah,
So
where did you go?
you guys are both right next to each other. It's pretty humorous from my view.
Oh, can I just not see her because she's too far away?
Yeah. So
Okay,
you
yeah.
guys are like you guys are diagonal of each other. So there you go. You're.
That was funny.
Good lord.
Oh, it's gonna be a close one. Oh no, Kelly, you're my move command.
I do.
You need to be on attack command.
Whoops.
It's okay, you won. Do you know why Kelly won? I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Those banelings blew up and destroyed everything. All right.
That's why as soon as you said suicide bombers, I was like, all right.
All right. Well, Janelle, you must do the honorable thing.
I will do the honorable thing.
All right. I'm gonna hit the rewind button, and on stream I'm just gonna. Oh wait, no. Are you guys still in the game? You guys have left. Never mind. And I'll quit replay. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is we'll play the same general game, and what we'll do is we'll play on Arctic Dream. I know we'll play on. Let's see. One sec. I'm selecting a map. Let's try Arctic Dream. And what we're gonna do is I'll pit you two against me. So I can actually put you guys on a team. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just do 10 minutes, right? And the goal isn't necessarily to see like who's better or whatever, but it's just to give you guys another chance to try to build up an army in 10 minutes. Because like, you wanna know how I got good at this game? It was basically doing what you guys are doing over and over again. All right, so I'll go ahead and be on the other team. One sec. There we go. And I'll play as Zerg because that's my main race. All right.
Are we all doing Zerg or?
No. You can be whatever you want. Like there's no. There's no limit. You're gonna play random.
Sure am.
All right. If you get Terran, you might have a little bit of a hard time because I'm going to be building up my thing. But generally, build supply depots and marines and barracks and factories and everything. Just, because you've already played Protoss, and you'll have a pretty good idea of how to play Terran because they are pretty similar in terms of the mechanics. It's the Zerg that's a lot different because the Zerg, everything comes from the hatchery.
Ah.
We require more minerals.
So at the 10-minute mark, we'll meet in the middle of the map, I guess, and we'll duke it out.
Spawn more. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
Tell me what it's like to be able to see the other person building their things. What?
I haven't even looked, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've only been looking at me.
That's totally fair. The game requires a lot of focus.
I am an...
We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
So question, are there particular places I should be building my other command centers like there was in the other one or no?
Just near, at a mineral field, and typically at a mineral field close to your own base.
Gotcha.
What's the one that I needed to build? I got
The Baneling Nest, or?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, those are called Banelings, and they're awesome. 3 minutes in. Playing Starcraft, time flies, let me tell you.
Yeah, man, really.
We require more minerals. Metamorphosis complete. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. Not enough energy. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. Not enough energy. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
We're at the
What's
5
the,
minute mark. Go ahead.
What's the thing for Baneling again?
Z, I believe. You can see it in the bottom right as well. It should be like it should be an option to morph into a Baneling.
Thank you.
Spawn more overlords.
That's not what I wanted.
Spawn more. We require more minerals. Not enough energy. We require more minerals. Not enough energy. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. Not enough energy. Metamorphosis. Spawn more overlord. We require more metamorphosis complete. Mutation complete.
So this is totally random. But I gotta say, the human guy that's in the SCVs looks just like a neighbor I have.
We require more
Like
minerals.
uncannily. Like it might just be modeled after him. I don't know.
We're at 7 minutes. That is hilarious.
More minerals.
He has a kind of everyman kind of look, I suppose.
For sure.
Enough energy. We require more Vespine gas. Not enough energy. We require more Vespone. We require more minerals. Not spawn more overlords.
2 minutes
Mineral
left.
field.
I'm so scared.
We require more minerals. Not enough. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. Mineral field depleted. We require more minerals. Mineral field. Not enough energy. We require more mutation. Complete.
1 minute.
Oof.
Hey Kelly, heads up. Sorry when I lose.
Mutation.
I think we'll be equally at fault there.
We require more minerals.
30 seconds. All right.
Lord.
And this is not bragging, but I have maxed out my army, so I can't actually build any more units.
I
There's a
might
max.
have as well. I don't know.
200 out of 200 is max.
I max out what I am able to do.
All right, the 10-minute marker just hit.
Depleted.
Okay.
I'll let you guys finish whatever you're building, and then I'm gonna send my units over. Let's see, where can we? It's kind of hard to pick a place to meet on this map. How about? Let's see. Do you see where there's like a triangle of bases on the bottom left-hand corner?
I see a.
Mineral field depleted.
I mean, I see the bottom left-hand corner.
Why don't you meet me? I'll be meeting in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm sending an emissary to meet you. Just a single unit. Just a single little Zergling.
Alright, I'm gonna just.
Mineral field depleted.
But yeah, my whole army is waiting in the very bottom left-hand corner, at the bottom left-hand base. There's your. Hey, I just saw some of your units. Oh, well, I didn't mean to attack. It's a.
How do I do attack instead of walk?
That would be T and then left click. But you want to wait for Janelle's army, right? You want to fight me together.
Correct. Is that oof?
One of you take. So I'm at the bottom left-hand base. If you get too close, my army will attack. So one of you take the base that's to the north of it, and then one of you take the base that's to the right of it.
Mineral field depleted.
Hold on. Wait. I'll take by this like little blue circle with like a
Yeah,
like
the
a metal
blue.
thing.
Yeah, the blue flowery kind of circle thing. That's like a.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm at the
go
bottom
there.
left. So I'll send a single more Zergling just to show you that where I am. Let's see.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out where I should be going, but I'm honestly not sure.
Where is? Just send it to wherever Kelly's army is. You should be sharing vision.
Yeah, I'm like right by Kelly.
All right. No, that's okay. Just don't let it. Just don't let your units. Yeah. There we go. So send it over there, and then we'll fight, and we'll see how it goes.
Alright, do this.
Too quick.
All right, you ready? All right. Is Janelle there? I guess I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm with Kelly.
All right, I'll send my stuff to attack you, and you can. I'm coming in from the left.
There they be.
Holy
Oh
crap.
my gosh, so many banelings. They all just blew up on each other.
I know. They did not get a lot going
Wow.
there.
That was honestly pretty fast.
The important thing is not who won, but rather like you guys got to have another game where you just practice like building stuff, and I could tell both of you built a lot more than you did last time.
Field depleted.
So do the honorable thing, and then.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Mineral
Menu
field
surrender.
depleted.
Didn't even GG.
Did it not show up?
No,
I was
you
punching
did,
with
you
the
did, you
communication
did.
thing.
It was Kelly. Kelly didn't think it was a good game.
I'm just not used to the etiquette.
That's okay.
I mean,
All
I'll
right.
take this over 1v1 me, bro, any day.
So go ahead and put you guys back in games against each other.
So I really liked playing Terran. I think I liked it more than playing Protoss. But the different terms for everything was a tough learning curve.
Yeah, to learn a new race
do
off
they-
the fly is tough. Go ahead.
Do they do similar things? Like, are there comparable units? Like, every race has, like, the the suicide bombers that keep destroying everything that Kelly has.
No, the units are like the goal of the game is to be really diverse. So the three races diverge a lot. Like the worker is the same pretty much, but otherwise there's no comparable units across races, and that's by design, really. So the big thing, for instance, for Zerg is that Zerg's units evolve. So the Baneling, the suicide bomber, is actually a Zergling that has been evolved. You spent resources to make it into a Baneling. No other race really has that. The Protests have a little bit of that, and so the Terrans have a little bit of it too. But that's like the Zerg's thing, right? Is that they, and also the Protoss and Terran are all about like these value units, right? They're like, they're supposed to be like human or like advanced alien, right? But meanwhile, the Zerg are right, like they're like bugs. So the bugs don't care, right? They'll be like, yes, Baneling, you suicide bomber, go die. All that matters is if we win, right? It wouldn't be thematically appropriate for Terran, right? Humans to be like, human being, go die. You know what I mean?
That is so interesting, because the paper that I read about StarCraft years ago was in game studies at some point. It was talking about like player agency and like the decisions that you have to make in StarCraft about like how to win and violence and stuff. And that makes a lot more sense with the kind of like now embodied context that I have of playing the game, to see this like, no, there are, I guess, logical moral choices that are made. Like humans probably won't spend human life. What is it? The Zerg, totally fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it plays out in so many different ways. Like the Protoss units, like on the whole, tend to be a lot beefier and stockier units, right? Then they tend to have a lot more special abilities. For instance, I don't think any of us unlocked it all today. But for instance, the Stalker has the ability to do like a short range teleport, which is like really crazy good. Like there's nothing comparable in any of the other races. And so like each race kind of has their own weird, unique thing. Let's go ahead and we'll play another game between you guys. We'll do another, how about 10-minute? We'll see who has the bigger army.
Hell yeah.
Looks like Kelly's playing Terran this time.
Oh, that was not a.
Oop,
That was a deep ball.
Quit. Oh god, I just quit out. Stop the game. Stop the class.
Why?
Nothing happened.
Why? I just quit.
All right, I'm gonna create the lobby again. I'm waiting for you guys. Sorry about that. Are you in the game? No, you're in the menus. Janelle.
Yeah, how do I get in there?
Are you?
Politely.
You should have the same prompt as you've had, because I tried to go make a new lobby, so it's waiting.
Could you
for
set
free.
it again? I
Uh,
don't know if I got it or if I missed it.
well, try again. There we go.
There we go.
This is so like such an aside, but I just love having like my microphone like on a stand in front of me now instead of just talking into my computer microphone. It makes me feel like I'm working in like the radio studio again instead of just like, oh, this is just my room.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start this up. Are you guys at the races you want to be?
Correct.
All right. Play Scholar says it's fascinating to watch me teach the game, and Mofo says lol about that. We actually have a pretty good contingent of viewers today. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to keep checking chat. I kind of have to have the game full screened, which makes it a little difficult.
Don't we all?
But I have been checking every couple minutes. So, all right, so you guys are working.
I will also be better about it. I forgot that I had chat open on my other screen.
One of the things that's really nice, they made 2 big changes to Starcraft early on, and it's I think when the first oh my gosh, Kelly's going crazy. I love it. No, you build 2 assimilators right out the gate, that's a lot of gas. I don't know what you're gonna do with it.
I mean, that's what I do.
Drones cost minerals, and right now you want drones, so that's why it's funny that like you don't really need gas until you have like special units you want to make. But that's okay. So one thing you're gonna want to do now is you want to send those guys back to work when they get done building.
I always forgot about them.
Here's what you do. You select the unit, you select the thing you want it to build, and then it's like, let's say you press Z, and then you press like E to build supply depot, then hit shift right click back on the minerals, and then you don't have to worry about it. It'll just go back there.
Oh, so does shift give them like a work queue?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Cool.
So up to the north here, we got Kelly's base. Kelly's building some workers, some overlords, making sure she doesn't get supply blocked ever again.
Yep.
She's got that spawning pool going. You really want to get the spawning pool going. Like, it's actually, this is like one of the things that Zerg has to do that nobody else has to do, Kelly. But I'm going to teach it to you now. It is, you need to have your queen, remember that spawn larva thing? You need to constantly have that going. So that's like, every race has their macro thing that they always have to be doing. For Zerg, it is the queen. It is the queen, and always be spawning larvae, because like you need that extra production, or else you're gonna have all this money you can't spend. For Terran, what you need to do is you'll eventually want to build an orbital command. It's it's your barrack, or not your barracks. It's your main base. It's what that'll do is it'll give you the ability to cast special spells from your main base. And the orbital command, what it'll do is like the big one is the mule. What the mule is, it's a special worker that collects minerals way faster than your normal workers, but is on a timer. It'll only last like 30 seconds. But you want to, so like the Terran thing is always be sending down mules, right? Spending that energy. It's like the game gives you like busybody things that you have to be doing, whether it's spawning larvae or throwing down mules. You want to be doing those things. Janelle's going ahead and getting her second base. Wonder if Kelly will get her second base. She does want to make sure she's spawning that larva. The new queen. And it's funny how much those little like busybody things that I was just describing to you will dictate how you play the game. So, for instance, you guys might have noticed that I told you about how I have F1 through F4 set up as camera hotkeys. And what they'll do is they'll zoom me to a certain part of the map. Do you know why I have it that way? It's so that I can press F1 X click, F2 X click, F3 X click. That way I can quickly spawn all my larvae in about 2 seconds. I can do it at all my bases just like that, by quickly cycling throughout all my bases and selecting each queen very quickly and spawning the larva at the thing.
So, 1, that sounds awesome. And 2, is it common then for Hearthstone that's what I'm thinking about. For StarCraft streamers to have a camera on their keyboards?
You mean
because that sounds like some wild movement.
Yes, it is. And yeah, a big thing in StarCraft is also APM, which is those actions per minute. We noted on our first score screen, right? Your guys' were in like around 12 and 18, I believe. My My average is like 88 to 100 in any given game. I would have to check the score screen for the game we just played. You can trick it because you could just select your overlord there and just right click and just keep telling it to move all around. And technically, each time you tell a unit to move, that counts as an action. So that you can spam it up that way. But it really there's what we call actions per minute and maybe effective actions per minute, right? So it doesn't matter if it's not actually, you're not playing any better if all you're doing is sending one Zergling in a circle, right? But yeah, you do want to. Yeah, a lot of pros will put the camera on their keyboard to show like their hands doing all this crazy shit, like moving all around, like super fast.
Yeah, because that just sounds wild.
Currently, Kelly has the supply lead and the army lead. One thing you're going to want to do, Janelle, as the Terran, is you're going. There's two things you want to do. One is you're going to look at Terran can put bonus, like what we'd call bonus buildings attached to their buildings. So for everyone, they could build a tech lab or a reactor. There you go. You just built a reactor. The reactor will let you build 2 units out of the reactor out of the barracks at once. And the tech lab will allow you to build special units out of the thing. But you're gonna want to build more barracks because right now you need to just be building units, right? And you building them one at a time is like stifling your money. You have way more money than Kelly does right now in your bank because Kelly has been able to spend it a little bit more because she's now onto her 3rd hatchery.
We're making a lot of fucking babies here, okay?
One thing that you're probably going to want to do, Kelly, is get that metabolic boost, the speed Zergling upgrade from your hatcher or from your spawning pool, the green thing, as well as.
Where is that? Oh.
It's the green. Yeah, there you go.
Got it. Yeah.
As well as if you upgrade your hatchery, you can get the centrifugal hooks, which allow your banelings to get faster.
Nice.
Movement, which allows them to roll around. And they actually are very cute. They roll everywhere once you get that, and
That's adorable.
It is great. Yeah. So Janelle wants to be building some extra barracks, which she's doing. Kelly has got those extra hatcheries and is getting lots of Zerglings. One thing I'll say for your sake, Janelle, is that those Marines you're building, they're weak to banelings because banelings explode in an area, right? And the problem is, what do Marines do? They congregate in little areas, right? So you're gonna want to have a thought about that. I'll give you a big tip.
It's a good thought.
I'll give you a big tip is you could get a tech lab and build Marauders, and Marauders are pretty good. Because they can soak up. They have a lot more health than the Marines do. The other tip I'll give you is, this is a micro tip, but you'll note that E is hold position, which orders, I'm just going to read it out to you, orders the selected unit to stay where they are and attack enemies that are within range. What you can do is, those banelings, they need to be next to your Marine to kill it. So what you want to do is you want to right click to move back, then press E to hold position to fire a little bit, then right click E, right click E, right click E. So that way they keep moving and shooting, right? And because the baneling has to run up to you to get it, right? So you don't want to run at the baneling, right? You want to run away from the baneling while shooting it. And that's an example of a micro trick. Just have 2 minutes. Kelly's got a much bigger army at this point.
Oh, Kelly, can I concede now?
No.
Kelly just wants to watch the world burn.
You do have those Widow Mines and the Hellion, which are pretty good. Just keep building units. You'll be okay. Your problem, Janelle, is not that you're bad at macro. Are bad at making units. You actually have more workers than Kelly does. You have almost twice as many, and you have way more resources. Your problem right now is that you're not converting the resources into units.
Right.
But you still have a minute, so probably not enough time to completely recuperate, but just try to build as many units as you can. You've got the supply, so you're not going to get supply blocked, which is good. Not to mention, most of Kelly's supply is just in these little Zerglings and Roaches, which are, they're only okay. They're They're not like high-tech units, that's all. They're the basic Zerg units.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, you know. Janelle actually just eclipsed you in supply, but
Hey.
her army supply is lower than your army supply. You guys have 30 seconds. I love that you're building that missile turret, Janelle.
Listen, we're here for the long haul.
All right, 10 seconds. So finish up whatever you're building. And we'll do the same thing with those blue. So go to the towers in the middle of the map, and
I can't find my little zerglings.
Remember, you can do select all army. Oh, Kelly, you should have been building those banelings beforehand.
I know.
I'm gonna say that the banelings you have going now are okay, but no more banelings after that.
Oh, I closed off my queue.
All right, so both of you select your entire armies and send them to that nearer tower, the closer eyeball on the map.
Yeah, I did not make a lot of banelings.
The banelings were your key to victory too, so this will be interesting. So the reason
I'm gonna let my army clump real quick before I send them in.
Yeah, well, that's why I send them to the tower, right? First, because that way, because the problem is that some units are way faster than other units, right? All right, so Janelle, go to the top circle, and Kelly, go to the bottom circle, and of those two circles in the middle of the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, are we fighting?
Oh, Janelle, the circle it's to the right of your units over to.
Oh.
You see it, the blue one with the orange stuff in it. Oh wait, you both went to the wrong place. That's okay. And Kelly, same deal to the left. That little circle. By the way, you guys are both getting better. You have every single game created a bigger army by the 10-minute mark.
Wait, this one?
No, but that's all right. So it's okay.
Alright, so can we pin something in game where everybody can see?
Unfortunately,
it?
I do not believe so.
Oh, this one.
Can you guys see that when I'm doing that?
No, but I just went to.
All right, so you guys are about to. Well, there goes the Zerglings.
Well,
Time to fight. Oh,
that was killing it.
but the Banelings came in and they did a lot of damage.
Oh my god, they so did.
Now you got it.
That was an unfortunate. So that showed the power of Micro a little bit. I don't know who had the more powerful army on the whole, but it was pretty close. But Janelle got a big boost from the fact that. Janelle got a big boost from the fact that Kelly's army kind of filtered in a little bit and didn't all attack at once.
Yeah, I would have gotten hard overwhelmed, and those little Marines they were sad and scared. They didn't like it.
All right, let's see if chat had anything to say. Well, we'll play one more game. We got enough time for one more of the 10-minute game.
Perfect.
All right, and remember to select the race you want to play.
Yup.
All right. Are you guys ready? All right. I'm going to give you guys each a special challenge this game. Janelle, I want you to build medevacs out of a starport. At least one medevac out of a starport. And Kelly, I want you to build at least one hydralisk.
Okay.
I'll explain how to get there for both of you. So for you, Janelle, the starport is you can build it after you build a factory. In fact, a common Terran build is called the 1-1-1 build. And what that means is one barracks, then one factory, then one starport. Because that's the natural tech tree progression for your race. For you, Kelly, you will have to get a layer in order to build a hydralisk den. But once you get a hydralisk den, it works just like all your other Zerg units where you can just make the hydralisk out of a larva. And there you go. There are your guys' quests. So it's another 10-minute game, but now you have this grand quest to build a medevac and to build a hydralisk. And the reason why I suggested those is because the hydralisk is a long-ranged unit that it does a lot of damage, but it doesn't have a lot of HP. It's good with the roach because the roach has a shorter range, so naturally the roach will walk in front. And as we noted, and the name of the unit implies, the roach is a very tanky unit, right? So the roach will stand in front of the hydralisks, and they'll do damage from behind. And it's a good combo. It's one of the what we'd call the bread and butter Zerg compositions. Meanwhile, for you, Janelle, the medevac is super important because it can heal any infantry units, and it will even do it during combat.
Oh, snap. Cool. Okay.
So it's a very important unit to get because it'll help you in the long run. Also, when you want to play sneaky, and by sneaky I mean like every Terran who's ever played this fucking game. As you can tell, I don't play Terran. I only play against them. Medevacs are really useful because you won't do that this game, but you can pick up your Marines and then you can like drop them in your opponent's base, then kill all their workers, and then put them back in the medevac and fly away.
Oh snap! That's like a straight Clone Wars move.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So at this point, Janelle, you're going to want to be building a factory. Kelly's got that spawning pool going. I'd recommend, Kelly, maybe getting another base up at the actual other base this time.
What other base?
Kelly's all about them one base all-ins.
Yeah. How do I get there though? 1 second. Where the fuck is the other base? There we go. All right, y'all. Start spewing your shit.
Oh, you want to get a drone there, really, to build a base, but don't worry too much about it. You want to stay on top of your macro, get a queen going because you just finished your spawning pool, your spawning pool.
Come on. There we go.
If Chad has any questions, feel free to ask. This is our last game of the day. Time flies. Maybe we'll just keep learning StarCraft all May.
I mean, I would be down to at least play it 1 or 2 more times. Now that I actually know what I'm doing, I feel like I'll have an easier time kind of starting right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The goal for today was not to be like, all right, guys, here's everything you can know about StarCraft. Now you're pros, right? It's like StarCraft is such a complicated game. You can't get there, right? It was really just to be like, hey guys, this is StarCraft here, like the real basics of what you're looking at. That way, what I think it could be fun is to spend a week like being like, okay, let's go ahead and blah, blah, what am I trying to say? It could be fun to like watch StarCraft now that you guys have a better understanding of like just the basics of the gameplay.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Let's see. Kelly, right now you're floating a lot of minerals.
I am. It's because I'm trying to do more hotkeys and I'm not learning them as quickly as I intended.
That'll happen sometimes. Remember to get that layer when you can. So you need more gas, I guess, before you can. You're the Zergling queen, though. You're building lots of Zerglings. Janelle, you're doing a much better job this game of keeping your production online.
Thank you.
Ooh, Janelle's even getting upgrades. Sneaky, sneaky. It looks to me, just incidentally, that Janelle is definitely picking up the game faster, and I think it's because she's played Age of Empires, and this is still a real-time strategy game, right? So a lot of the basics that you know from other real-time strategy games, I think those skills translate a little bit, and maybe Kelly, you've played less of this kind of game before.
I've never played anything like this kind of game before.
Exactly. And so
Yeah, I gotta say, Age of Empires is really, really helping. because I have like a kind of ingrained process when I play that game with very similar goals, and I can sort of translate like, all right, so what's the logic behind building this, then this, and this, and it seems to work at least similarly.
Now I'll just note, I gave you guys both a quest at the start of this game. Janelle, you still haven't built a factory, which you need to get the starport to get the medevac.
I did
Kelly,
build
What am I
factory.
missing from the?
do you have a factory? That's an engineering bay.
Missing from the lair? I thought I had
I
this
thought I
stuff.
had a factory.
You can build a lair, Kelly. You just need to press Z on one of your hatches.
Oh.
I thought I did.
Nope, you built an engineering bay, which is close. It sounds like a factory.
I built the ghost one by accident.
That's okay. Get a factory building and you'll be A-okay. There you go. Got 2 factories, but one is in a very inopportune location if you think about it.
Oh, it is in a just awful location, yeah.
Kelly loves them Banes.
Yep.
So one, like, I'm going to talk about some minor things that you don't want to do, even though it's not impacting you too much. So one thing, so 2 things for Janelle. One, you have too many units at base 1 and not enough units at base 2. So you'll see about
Kelly, you don't even have a base 2.
But the other thing, Janelle, is that I can see on base 2, you queued up 5 SCVs in a row. When you queue up a unit, you spend the resources for it. So when you queue up 5 units in a row, you actually spent 250 minerals. Not a big deal because you're floating almost 2,000, but normally you want to avoid queuing up a ton of units in a row, just because then you're tying up resources that you now can't spend in other places.
Gotcha.
For you, Kelly, you aren't spawning your larva. You gotta spawn that larva, girl. Also, you're getting there for the Hydralisk Den. Now you just need to morph one of your drones into an advanced mutation into a Hydralisk Den, but you need to have 100 gas to do so, which you just got. There you go. And now you'll be able to maybe get a Hydralisk. Meanwhile, Janelle, you need to build a starport to get that medevac.
So where do I've been looking for the starport.
It's
Is it in the
under
factory?
it's under advanced mutation. So you are build advanced structure, which is X.
Oh, there it is.
XZ, there we go. All right, your Hydralisk Den is completed. You should be able to build 2 Hydralisks, Kelly.
How?
Same way you build any unit, just select the larva, and then Hydralisk is A. You can actually build 4 Hydralisks. If you have the larva, of course.
Where do I find like larvae? Like it's hard to see them.
So you want to select
There we go.
your hatches, then Q.
Got it.
I would recommend Kelly to get Baneling speed. So save up 150 gas and then grab that Baneling speed. Though it actually takes 79 seconds to make. So it's not going to be done in time for the end game, unfortunately. But that
So
would
I
have
got
been
distracted building my second base and forgot to build military units.
all right. Oh yeah, you did.
Hooray.
I think
No, I totally
I'm pretty
did.
sure I know who's gonna win this one. But build that
can tell
medevac. You do have the better economy.
I do have the medevac coming.
There you go. When the medevac finishes, this game we'll call the game and we'll have the fight. Well, I'll say
Kelly,
that
this is gonna be brutal.
I'm gonna say that Janelle's gonna need some good a good engage to win this one. All right. The medevac is done. Why don't you guys send your units to the middle of the map?
And the queen is just there to like facilitate like more things.
Kelly, you sent your units too far. I'd be careful. You're gonna lose a couple of units.
It's not gonna make a difference.
Sorry, I'm so used to sending them to the other side of the map.
If you want them to run in one at a time, you can keep sending them, or you can try to control them.
Okay, bye.
Right.
You see that medevac's doing all it can to heal those units.
Medevac is like, bye.
Actually, it was a bad engage, but Kelly managed to barely win that one.
Barely. I still have like 7 things.
Janelle actually is winning the supply battle, though, because she has 37 workers to the 20 of Kelly.
3 of them are sleeping. What are you doing?
Nice.
But let's go ahead and we'll close this game out with the GG from the loser. And let's just talk a little bit about what our experience of playing Starcraft today was like.
Sorry, I'm stretching. It was fun. I definitely like the game of build what you can in 10 minutes and then attack, rather than, the traditional game of you could be attacked at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's good for the learning curve and really
definitely
pushes people to try and get what they can in those 10 minutes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought that this format was really nice because it gave me like a very simple goal, right? It was here's test out how building and expending units works. And that was really cool. I think that if I had tried like the full game, that would stress me out. That probably wouldn't go very well. But for me, it was really cool to get to play something like Age of Empires that's far more complicated and that has a lot more nuance to it that I really enjoyed. So this is something that I'm definitely going to come back to and probably just try in the same format and just try and get better and understand the different races. But it was really fun.
Yeah, I'd love to coach you sometime. Like, if you want me to just watch you play a game and just be like, yep, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, that kind of thing. Coaching Starcraft is really fun because it's Starcraft is a game with very little chance involved, and there's so much to do that, just like let me put here's how complicated Starcraft is. They legitimately pushed a mode called Archon mode, where you had 2 people controlling 1 person in the game, and it would be 2v2. But you're both controlling the same Terran, right? Like, it's not like you're playing different races or you have your own base. You're controlling the same character, basically, right? Or the same, bases. And yet, that was still, like, a lot. It's still a lot to have 2 people, like, try to run the game at once. Like, and that's crazy. It's just crazy how demanding Starcraft is how I describe it, right?
Yeah, demanding is a really good word.
I think the way I've heard it described that I like the most is that it's the ultimate commander fantasy. So the idea is it's like you have control over
strategic.
Yeah, you have control over everything. But instead of you have control over everything, you're God. It really feels like you have control over everything, and you're just putting out fires. You know what I mean?
It's like managing a kitchen is very much like this.
Yeah,
I see parallels to Overcooked here. Just from lived experience.
Yeah, I could definitely see the comparisons to Overcooked or any game where you have to do a lot of multitasking and queuing up things in the correct order and stuff. And I think while I totally agree for learning that the stuff that you guys were talking about, I could be attacked at any time, that's not really fun, right? For learning the game, because you're not learning anything if you're trying to build a medevac, right? And your opponent comes and squashes you at the 4-minute mark, right?
Of course, yeah.
But what the depth of Starcraft is, it's all about timing attacks and being able to repel your opponent, if they attack you first, or knowing when your opponent's weak and attacking them at that particular moment. So for instance, a great example of this in the game is there's a very specific unit for Protoss called the Adept. And the Adept is a pretty good unit It's a ground-to-ground fighter. It has a ranged attack, and it has this really good ability called Shade. And what a Shade is it creates a little hologram of itself that it sends out, and if you let the Shade finish, the adept will warp zap to that new location where the hologram was, right? And what you'll see is there's an early upgrade for the adept called Glaives, which allows them to attack like 30% faster or 50% faster. Like they shoot a lot quicker. They do a lot more damage, right? Whenever you're playing against a Protoss, you need to know there's a chance they might try to rush for that upgrade, build a bunch of adepts, and kill you. But you know that they have to spend the time to do that. So it comes at about the 5 to 6 minute mark. So you want to scout your opponent before then to see if they're going to do that 5 to 6 minute mark attack on you, right? And then your opponent's going to want to try to deny your scouting if they're doing it so that you don't know, right? And then there's all these layers. Maybe you want to fake like you're going that direction so that your opponent over prepares for the defense for that push, and then it never comes because you actually were sneaky just macroing up, right? Just building lots of workers, right? And that's where a lot of the strategic depth of StarCraft comes in, is that like that closed information, right? Not knowing what the opponent might be doing is like so powerful in terms of like how you start strategize and how you think about playing the game. And that's what makes watching StarCraft so much fun, is like, because you know, right, when you're the spectator, you know what both players are doing, and it like, so then you have all these questions of like, do they know, are they going to prepare well? It's really great.
That does sound really fun. I'd be really down to watch StarCraft either like next episode or maybe the episode after that.
Yeah, let's plan it. Maybe we'll spend 3 weeks on StarCraft or 2 weeks, and we'll either watch StarCraft next week or we'll spend some more time playing it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
But it's been a good arena. Thank you for joining us, Twitch chat, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.